So today we're going to be talking about ratios. If a gift shop sells boxes of fruit online, including the box of apples and pears, use numbers to compare the fruit in three different ways. Well, I know that I have apples and pears. So apples, 2 pears, where these are 2 little dots. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apples, and 1, 2, 3, 4 pears. Okay, I can also write pears in comparison to apples. Well, I'll have 4 pears in comparison to my 8 apples. Or I can say how many apples I have compared to all fruit. I have 8 apples compared to 12 fruit. Okay, or 4 pears compared to 12 pieces of fruit. These all will work the same. So when we're comparing quantities, it is important to use a method that makes sense for the situation. Comparing quantities can help you make plans, predictions, and decisions. What are some ways to compare quantities?
A ratio is a relationship in which for every X units of one quantity, there are Y units of another quantity. The quantities X and Y are the terms of the ratio. You use ratios to make comparisons. The ratio of the number of squares to the number of circles is 4 to 3. You can also write this ratio as 4:3.
So since there are 4 squares and 3 circles, we know that we could write it 4 to 3, where the colon means comparison or 2. They want us to write 2 different ratios to compare the number of headphones and the number of portable music players. Well, the number of headphones I have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm going to put 5, to the number of portable music players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 to 6, where Emma's music players, or I can flip it, 6 to 5, 6 music players to 5 headphones.
First, separate the objects into 2 groups. Then count the objects. There are 5 headphones. And there are 6 portable music players. The ratio of the number of headphones to the number of portable music players is 5 to 6. You can also compare the objects in the reverse order. To compare the objects in the reverse order, write the ratio of the number of portable music players to the number of headphones. So the ratio of the number of portable music players to the number of headphones is 6 to 5. 2 ratios that compare the number of headphones and the number of portable music players are 5 to 6 and 6 to 5.
So, write the ratio of the number of fish to the number of plants.
Write the ratio of the number of fish to the number of plants.
The plants provide oxygen for the fish, so knowing the ratio of the number of fish to the number of plants is very important, especially if you want to keep those fish happy and healthy. Move out of the way.
So go ahead and try this Got It on your own and write your answer and your notes. So for this one, they want us to look and say, okay, well, write the ratio of the number of heads, which we know the number of heads is 7, the number of tails. Well, we don't know how many tails we got. We do know that we tossed a coin 12 times, and 7 of those times we got heads. So to figure out how many tails we got, we need to do 12 minus 7, because 12 total tosses minus 7 tosses where we got our heads will give us the amount of tails we got. Well, it'll be 7 to 5, because we know there are 5 tails, because 7 plus 5 is equal to 12.
You have read 20 books from a series of 23 books. Write the ratio of the number of books you have not read to the number of books you have read.
Okay, so I know that I have 23 books that I need to read in this series. So far, I've read 20, which means I have 3 books left to read. Well, if I have read 20 books and I need to read 3 books, how can I write this as a ratio? Go ahead and pick one of these here, write it on your notes, and we will move on. So there are 3 different types of ratios that you need to know about. There are part-to-part ratios, part-to-whole ratios, and then whole-to-part ratios.
The ratio of the number of round blue beads to the number of oval red beads is 4 to 3. The ratio of the number of oval red beads to the number of round blue beads is 3 to 4.
So, part to part, we know that we are comparing 2 parts, blue beads versus red beads. Now there's part to whole, where they're going to compare 1 part to all the total or the whole necklace in general.
The ratio of the number of round blue beads to the total number of beads is 4 to 7. The ratio of the number of oval red beads to the total number of beads is 3 to 7.
So you see that they were looking at the blue compared to all the beads, or the red compared to all the beads. So that is a part, the blue or the red, to the whole or the total. Now hold apart.
The ratio of the total number of beads to the number of round blue beads is 7 to 4. The ratio of the total number of beads to the number of oval red beads is 7 to 3.
So now they're looking at their total compared to 1 part. The total beads compared to blue beads, or the total beads compared to red beads. On to part 3.
The table shows the results from the 6th grade election for class president. You can write different ratios to describe the election results.
This table shows the results from the 6th grade election for class president. Way to go, Devin. And Jordan and Micah, don't give up. There's always next year. You can use the ratios of the votes to prepare for the next election.
The table shows the results from the 6th grade election for class president. Determine whether each statement is true or false. A. The ratio of votes for Jordan, so I'm going to go ahead and underline Jordan, was 10 votes to 35. Well, so far, yep, Jordan had 10 and 10. Well, the total amount of votes was 20, 30, 35. So that then must be true. The ratio of votes for Devin, I'm going to underline Devin, to the votes for Jordan was 10 to 20. Well, Devin's 20, Jordan's 10. What do you notice about this? They flipped it backwards. So no, that is false because Devin did not get 10 votes. Devin got 20 votes. So that's going to be false. The ratio of votes for Micah to the total votes is 5 to 30. Well, yes, Micah got 5 votes. But how many votes did we say we had in total? 20 plus 10 plus 5, 35. So that's actually not correct. false. The ratio of votes for Devin to the votes for Micah is 20 to 5. Well, Devin had 20, Micah had 5, so that must mean that is true. The ratio of total votes to votes for Devin is 35 total votes to 20. Well, yes, 35 total votes, Devin had 20, so that must be true. All right, on to our next slide.
In a class, 15 students are wearing sneakers, 10 students are wearing boots, and 5 students are wearing sandals. Write the ratio of the number of students wearing sneakers to the total number of students.
Okay, so how many students are wearing sneakers is the first thing you need to know. And write that number here. And then they want us to compare it to the total number of students. So I've underlined 3 different things for you. 15 were wearing sneakers, 10 were wearing boots, and 5 were wearing sandals. So after you have this first number, you need to decide how to figure out how many total students there were. Go ahead and pause this. I'm going to move on to the next got it, and I need to see this in your notes.
Determine whether the following statement is always, sometimes, or never true. Explain your reasoning. Suppose you have a basket of fruit. Let A to B equal the ratio of the number of apples to the number of bananas. Then the ratio of the number of apples to the total number of pieces of fruit in the basket is A to A plus B.
So do you think that this is true, sometimes true, or never true? Go ahead and write your answer, and we will go over it in class tomorrow.